Very good.
I just couldn't see it.
Okay, so the first thing that we need to know about patinas is safety, which is the most boring part, but important. So with the patinas that I'm going over with you guys today, a respirator is only needed if you're in like a very enclosed space with no windows, no ventilation, no nothing. Or if you're using the stuff for like hours and hours on end. So for our purposes, you don't need a respirator or a dust mask. Vents, luckily here, they're always on, but if you're ever in a scenario where the vents aren't constantly running, then vents have to be turned on when you're using this. Gloves are necessary. So nitrile, latex, doesn't matter, just keep the stuff off of your skin. And safety glasses aren't really necessary unless you're like going Jackson Pollock on your patinas, but I think you guys would be okay without those. So, that's that. Okay, so first I had you guys sand your metal or sandblast your metal because the patina needs like a tooth to grip onto. Okay. So that's why Ty is over here sanding. It doesn't need to be like a 600 grit or 400, it can be an 80 grit if you want it to be, just consistent. Reliable patina vendors that you all can go to are Sculpt Nouveau, which is where these guys are from. And then some other ones I haven't used but I know are good are artchemicals.com and ronyoungpatina.com. Yep. Sculpt Nouveau. Yeah, that's where we use the dioxide patinas that we have today. And they also carry numerous colors of waxes, mica powder. They carry the cupric nitrate and lots of the other chemicals that we use. And the second one was artchemicals.com. And the third one is ronyoungpatina.com. Okay, so you all know how to do the heat patina with your torch or the toaster. So we're going to go on ahead and skip over that and move on to the thing that patinas are set into two different sort of like categories. You have your cold patinas and you have your hot patinas. So we're going to go over one kind of cold patina, or maybe two today. So one of them is a fume patina, and then the other one is a burial patina. So you can use ammonia, which gives more of a blue, or you can use vinegar, which gives you more of a green, and that's like the real rustic colors that you see on like the copper elevator doors or anything like that. That's a sort of.
So the fume is ammonia, which turns it blue.
Ammonia is blue and vinegar is green, and these only work on copper. I mean brass might be okay, but we're only doing copper today. I'm not messing with brass. Okay, so for the fume patina, it's real easy. You just take your cup, okay, and you take your piece of sanded metal on the top like that. You should probably be wearing gloves.
This is the only fume, right?
Yeah, this is the fume patina. All this is being videotaped, Ty, so you don't have to take notes if you're actually posting it.
Oh!
We'll post it online. Unless you want your notes, which is fine.
No, I want my notes.
Okay. If you missed something, you can go back and get it later. Okay. So, ammonia goes into your cup. Okay. Sloppy. So you don't need to pour it on your metal or anything like that. And then you're just going to cover it with saran wrap. And then you would just wrap it with like a rubber band. I'll just use tape. Probably not as foolproof as a rubber band, but that's all you need to do. Okay, so that's that. And then it's got to sit for at least 24 hours. The longer it sits, the better your patina is going to be. So if you're like, this is not like, the night before your project is due, I'm going to do a burial or a fume patina kind of thing. You need to, yeah, it's got to be.
What if you would dump the copper into the ammonia? What would happen?
I don't know. I guess you could try it and experiment. Okay, so the burial patina, you can use any material that absorbs liquid. So I'm going to use wood chips, and you can do this with the vinegar too. I'm just using ammonia because it's what we have here. So wood chips absorb. I've seen people use pasta. I've seen people use, I know Megan brought in dirt. And then the other thing to note is that the finer your material that you're burying in, the more consistent your patina is going to be, the rougher the material, so like the more delicate and sort of like crunchy your patina is going to be. If you want to even crunchier patina, you can add the really thick granules of salt. So I'm not going to do that. So basically what you do is you just saturate whatever it is so it's like damp. And again, you want to wear gloves when you're doing this. And it smells nasty. You want to have, I'm not going to dye tie. You want to have a lid for this, okay? Somebody wants to grab me a piece of copper? Anybody? Thank you. This has been sanded, so you just want to bury it in there. Cover up the lid, and then we'll mark this when we're done so we remember what it is, and that's finished. And then you leave it for 24 hours minimum, and again, the longer the better. Okay? Anybody, is everyone good so far? Any questions? No?
I'm assuming there's other things you could use that are not ammonia in the same method? Or
You can use vinegar.
Okay.
Basically, I don't know if I should be telling you guys this, but now Jan will know. Any household chemical that is not green will probably affect metal. So anything that's nasty, that hurts your eyes when you're cleaning, is going to change your metal to a funky color. So that's something that you all should know. But you need to be very careful with those chemicals. Safety thing, do not please mix chemicals that you are unfamiliar with or that you don't know what the combinations are going to do. My favorite, ammonia and bleach causes an explosion, so maybe don't do that. So stick with the patinas that I'm showing you, and if you're unsure, ask somebody who knows. Okay. Let's see. Oh, and if you add steel, so steel wool is a really good one. If you add that to your burial, it'll bring out like lots of browns. So if you want to add some of that naturey kind of stuff in there, you can do that as well. Okay. Questions? Comments? Concerns? Okay.
You go a little bit slower.
Okay. Do you need to stop for a second?
No.
Okay. Let's see if I missed anything. Oh yes. In addition to using the Tupperware container, you guys can use plastic bags. So I had Elizabeth bring in some Ziplocs, so that way you can each have your own individual one. If you're going to use the plastic bag, make sure that you label it with your name and what's in it and the date. And also, if you want to put something heavy on top of your plastic bag, that can like crunch the material into it a little bit more. So that might be to get more of a texture. So that would be an upside as opposed to just the burial and the Tupperware container. Alright, so this same kind of thing can go for a wrapped patina. I'm not going to demo it, but I'll explain it. Wrapped patina is any sort of like fibrous, porous material, so like cloth or muslin, twine, rope, anything that can absorb the moisture. So basically what you would do is you would soak that in the ammonia or vinegar, whatever you're using to patina. You would wrap it as tight as you can, rubber band it, tape it, put it in a plastic bag that it has a seal, and again label everything and leave it overnight. And then what will happen is the texture of that rope or the texture of that fabric, lace, twine will sort of be imprinted with the patina and your metal. You're looking confused?
Oh no, I meant like, for example, if you were to take this and wrap it with lace, should you just like do multiple layers or just one is enough? Because, I mean, layers different.
You would probably want to layer it to get more patina in there, yeah.
More patina in there.
And you want to do it as tight as you can.
Okay, and what about the texture that you get? Just going to be random, right?
Yeah, you just need to do lots of tests, and then when you find one that's consistent, then you would use that for your piece. Okay, let's see. Hot patinas. This is the fun stuff. That's what these guys are, these dioxides. And I'm going to have you guys apply them with a heat gun as opposed to the torch. The torch, it's possible, but it's harder to get like the same thing over and over again. It's harder to get that. So we're going to do that. And a basic rundown is you're going to sand your metal or sandblast it. Two common bases for the dioxides, and these come in all different colors. We have violet, white, and red. They come in greens, blues, yellows, oranges, pretty much every color.
We're only using 2 today.
That's all we have budget for right now. But we can get more if you guys really like this. So anyway, the cupric nitrate that I have mixed up for you, you guys should not be mixing this yourselves. So if we, cupric nitrate, so if you run out or if you need more, just ask me. And then we have liver sulfur, which I know you guys are familiar with. These are the 2 most common bases for the dioxide patinas. The liver sulfur is going to really soak the color down a lot more because it's so much darker. And the cupric nitrate is a really bright turquoisey blue, so it's going to make your colors pop. And it's really nice to just layer the color over these things. Now, when you're layering the patinas, it's really good to sort of give the patina time to rest. So you do, let's say, your first layer of cupric nitrate, and then you do a layer of whatever your color is. And then at that point, you should maybe steel wool or brass brush it, and then do another layer of color, and it's going to create a lot more depth. Okay. And we're going to apply all of these with a paintbrush. The paintbrushes need to be natural hair. They should not be plastic, because plastic and heat doesn't go well. Hopefully, you guys haven't had to experience that yet here. And also, for every patina that you do, you should always use a different paintbrush because you don't want to contaminate anything. Okay. I am ahead of my notes. I just want to make sure I'm not forgetting anything to tell you guys. Okay. Oh, and those dyes can also be used over plain copper. They're just not going to have as much depth to them. And then, before you use these, shake them super well, like vigorously, for like a minute. So I'll start to do that for this one. And you can apply these with these atomizers, or you can splatter them, but maybe we shouldn't do the splattering in the studio because that will get a little messy. But you can use the atomizer, or you can use the paintbrush. There is this stuff called mica powder that Sculpt Nouveau carries, and it's a shimmery, I like to call it sort of like tasteful glitter. So it's a really, it's a really slight shimmer. So I'll show you guys how to mix these dyes up, but when you mix in, you can do a little bit of mica powder so that when you're layering the dyes, it adds a nice shimmer to it. So that can be something that we can buy later, again, if you guys want to get into this. Okay, so when you're using this, again, always use gloves. When you mix these, it's typically going to be a one-time mix. So you're going to mix it, and then you're probably just going to throw it away unless somebody else wants the same color. Because we don't have enough little containers everywhere to keep them around. So I'm going to use this red. And this stuff won't kill you if you get it on your skin. Just wash it off with soap and water. It's better not to. I tend to just use the measuring caps to measure. And what I'm going to do is, over here, I'm going to do a 1-to-1 mixture. So the more water you have in the mixture, the more sort of transparent the color is going to be. The less water you have, the more opaque it's going to be. So I find 1-to-1 is a pretty good mix. So notice I'm being really careful. I'm not trying to like make a mess on the table here. I'll use a different cup for water. And if we can get a better measuring system, like even some measuring spoons and stuff that we have in the metals club cabinet, people take really good care of, that would be good. So I like to use these mixing sticks that get them at Michael's for like $1.50 a pack. Okay. All right. So if we want to pop on over to that station with the heat gun, I can show you guys how to apply this stuff. And I need some copper from somebody. Okay, might need 2. Just drop on there. Yep. to lay out tin foil. Okay, this prevents the stuff from getting on the bricks. It just makes things a lot cleaner, and you can work on a lot of different surfaces with this, and it's also it's disposable. Just toss
You can hold on to me.
when you're done. Okay. So I'm going to start off, I think, with the nitrate. I'm keeping all of my plastics, all of my chemicals away from the heat gun. So first what I'm going to do, this is a really small piece. I would really like you guys to have like 2" by 2" squares. You're going to put it on your low setting. Most heat guns have 2 settings, so I tend to use the low one. And I'm going to start by heating my metal, just kind of like you would with a torch, except you're not so concerned with heating the whole piece. You're really just heating small sections of it. So I'm going to take my heat gun away, and I'm going to dab a little bit, and nothing's really coming on. So I can see when that piece starts to dry up, so that maybe I should add some more. And it still isn't really going. I'm not digging these brushes.
How come you're not doing the whole thing?
You just want to do a slow progression. I don't really have a good answer for you, other than if you heat up the whole metal, you can maybe start to burn your patina.
Oh, okay.
But you guys can start to sort of notice that I'm starting to get a little bit of a blue tint. And you can tell that like the metal's getting hot, because the patina's really starting to dry up and to get that blue color. You don't want to overheat. And this takes a long time. Like it's not just going to happen instantaneously. Now you don't want to cake the patina on, because it'll chip off. I know Ty, you had a little bit of an issue with your liver of sulfur.
Yeah.
So you want to do like really nice thin layers.
Does it matter how many layers, or no?
No, not really.
It has to be consistent throughout the whole thing, right?
Yep, be as consistent as you can. And the most important thing I would say is not to rush it. Like, don't get impatient and throw your heat gun on high, because you're just going to start to burn stuff. It's not worth it to ruin your pieces. But the more of this I'm going to add, the bluer it's going to get. It's more turquoisey, but.
Is the foil just to keep it clean?
Yeah, and then it's also
Draws the heat,
sort of
right?
like a preventable, it keeps the surface from underneath from like overheating, because it's going to soak up some of the heat for you. But it's a cleanliness thing for sure.
Right.
You want to be careful not to burn your brush. So you notice I'm really like hopping around. And then different size brushes and different shape brushes, that's something too that you guys can experiment with.
Can you give an example of?
You know, like those, I'm not a painter, but you know those fan brushes? Like that could give a really interesting texture as opposed to this.
Oh, so it does, like, how the texture of the brush comes out in the patina.
Definitely. It's how you apply it.
Okay.
You know,
Even if you do it consistently, right?
Yeah. If you just like dab it on there, it'll just be dabbed on. But if you really take your time with that fan brush and you dab it lightly, you will get some. It'll happen more on the color layers, because if you'll notice that like some of my liquid is sort of skidding a little bit over the copper. But once the patina lays its foundation, it'll start, the other layers will start to stick to it.
And what does the culprit?
Nitrate?
Yeah, what does that act as?
What do you mean? What does it act as?
Why can't you just dip it in like the red or something?
You can just start with the red. It just adds another layer that's really nice, and it's typical.
It gives it depth? Or?
Yeah, it's a typical underlayer for these patinas.
Okay. Sure.
Now this isn't quite to where I would want it, but I'm going to kind of move on in a second, and you guys can get to fool around a little bit here. I'm rushing now. So my next layer then, so I don't know if you guys want to come up and take a close look to what that is.
Go ahead.
And you can definitely get more blue than that. The coarser that your metal is, like if you guys were to sandblast these, you're probably going to get a better patina overall. This was sanded pretty fine.
Do we have sandblaster here? I thought it
Yeah.
always broke.
No, it's not broken. If you guys need a demo on how to use that, I or somebody can show you. So I'm using a different brush, making a point to tell you guys that. I need to be careful because now this is a plastic cup. So I need to make sure that my heat does not go near that plastic cup.
Right.
Okay?
Am I in your way, okay?
So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm hitting small areas at a time. Everything you learned about soldering, chuck it out the window for this.
As in what?
As in heating all of your metal evenly.
Oh.
And then if I layer the red, I can make it thicker in certain areas, thinner in others. And you know, you guys, the best part is like when you guys just sort of start to play with it, but you'll notice like that layer went way faster. So there's your red patina.
Is that all you do?
Yep. And then after this, there's a couple of ways to apply wax. I can show you guys a warm way to apply wax if you want to do that. And then there's obviously the regular cool way of applying wax like you would over liver or sulfur. I know Darlis, when she does her work, she'll spray it with a spray lacquer. Never use gloss, ever. It's too tacky. So you want to use like a matte finish or satin if you must.
Matte finish on...
Matte finish, clear.
Clear. Varnish or not varnish?
No, a clear spray lacquer.
Lacquer.
Yeah, so you can do that and then follow it with a wax, or you can only do the lacquer, or you can only do the wax. It's really up to you guys and what you want to do. Now, when you guys, if we get the mica powder, you would just throw a pinch of the mica powder into this cup with the dioxide mix.
What's the what?
The mica powder, the tasteful glitter.
Oh, okay.
You would just throw that in here. Only a tiny little pinch of it. You don't need like huge amounts, and it would mix in. And
unless you're Rachel Timmins.
Yeah, in which case you'd probably do a lot more, yeah. Okay, so I can show you guys the warm way to apply the wax, and then I think we'll be good to go. So the wax is back there, if somebody wants to grab it. Oh, and a mixing stick too, sorry. Thanks. Okay, so Sculpt Nouveau has all these awesome, thank you, has all these awesome colors of waxes. You can get reds, oranges, purples, pretty much any color that of the dioxide that they have, they probably carry a wax for it, which is really cool. You can use these waxes over just your plain metal. So like this wax is going to accent your regular heat patina. It's going to make it way redder and way warmer. And you can use these over your regular metal too. Like I probably would use it over silver, but your coppers or your brasses to bring out other tones in the metal. So I'll just put a little bit on a mixing stick. Let's actually put a lot. I'm gonna smear a tiny bit on here, and my metal is still warm.
So do this while it's warm?
Yep. If your metal cools off, you can just heat it up a tiny bit, and if it's safe for you to pick up, you're good to go. So look how much redder that is now. So then you want to wait about 10 minutes. So let's pretend that the 10-minute clock is come and gone. So you take you should always have a rag with you or a towel, and you're just going to buff it off. And there's still going to be some residual wax. If the wax stays on for more than 24 hours, you're not going to get it off because it's cured. You're done. You can burn it off and start over, but that's about it. So don't ever wait that long. And then look how pretty it is. You guys good?
Yeah.
Good questions?
That's cool.
liver of sulfur the same way as applying
Oh,
it?
yeah, I can do the liver sulfur if you guys want to see how to apply that hot with the weekend.
So the only two colors we can do today is the red and the
Violet, and then I've got the white.
It's
The white
white,
goes
too.
really nice over the liver of sulfur. So you guys want the liver of sulfur then, just to make sure that y'all are good?
Yeah,
Okay.
great.
Need another piece of metal from somebody.
Oh,
The other
I was
one's
like,
Another piece of metal.
your boobs are so cute.
Thank you.
Watch that be on YouTube.
Okay. So again, I'm keeping my brushes all in order. This was the Cooper nitrate brush. I'll switch to another one. And then once you wash these brushes out, then they're fine. They're good to go. So same thing, spot heat in the middle.
This is your idea for the quarter. This is your idea for the quarter.
If I see my patina start to sizzle at all, I need to take my heat off when I'm applying it.
Is there, I guess, a preference between the liver sulfur and the copper nitrate between the color? I know that we make them more, one make it more pop more and the other one's more dull. But what about the color of, like, for example, use this for the red one. Would this be better for like the more cooler tones or anything like that?
You're just going to have to experiment with that. I know that the white looks really good over a nice solid liver of sulfur.
Okay.
But that's just, I mean, that's my opinion. I mean, so
Right.
just, just going to have to experiment. I don't really have a good answer for you. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
not a problem, not a problem.
Okay, so you can continue putting the liver of sulfur on and get it really dark, but I really like this sort of marbly effect that's happening right now. You guys, be careful when you touch your metal. Sometimes it's really hot, and I think like my tolerance for hot might be different from some of you guys. So right now I'm okay to hold this, but you all might not be. It's handy to have a pair of tweezers, but really just like wait for it to cool down. Don't rush this. So then I'll do the same thing with the red. Whoop. That was me rushing. You saw how my patina just skidded off. There we go.
Oh, so heat patina is not, it's just like much faster than the barrel patina.
Yes, this is like a pretty instant
It's
thing.
like instant, right?
Except, I mean, I know people who do heat patinas and they'll be doing this for 8 hours. Layering and taking it off and layering and taking it off. I mean, I did like the bare minimum on that sample. The more layers that you can build up, the better your patina is going to be.
And when you do layering, would you just do the liver of sulfur one time,
Yes.
and then multiple layers of the patina?
Yeah, you can do that, or you can even put more liver of sulfur on.
Okay.
You know, to try to like to start to layer up the darks and the reds.
Okay.
I have my best friend is a painter, and he had no interest in metalwork until I showed him this stuff. And he was like, wow, this is like what I do. I was like, yeah, now you just gotta learn how to solder. But it is a whole other, it's a whole other realm of metals. It's pretty cool. Okay, so. There's that guy. And then
Oh.
if we want to do, if we want to do a little bit of the wax on here. The wax is always going to change it. So if you just straight up like love your patina just the way it is without the wax, just spray lacquer it and be done with a matte finish. Don't do the wax if you just.
So is it gonna be any difference between the lacquer and the wax that you use here that we have in the studio, or
Wait,
the lacquer that you said, the spray, and this? Is it going to react differently, or?
I don't think so. I think all the lacquers are pretty consistent. And you can also coat this like, I know, do you guys use the bowling alley wax or yeah. So you guys can use that for just a plain old clear coat, but that's going to change it also.
Right.
So, I mean, you can just experiment with thousands of variations until you find what you like. That's it.
Thank you.
Yeah. You guys have questions? No? You want to play?
Yeah.
Okay. Go.